I think indeed the disruptions in the Red Sea traffic as a result of the ongoing geopolitical tensions in the region are adversely impacting global trade flows. Just to give a few examples, a significant portion of shipping that would usually pass through the Suez Canal is being rerouted, and mostly around the Cape of Good Hope. In particular, LNG shipments that usually pass through the Suez Canal mainly consists of deliveries from Qatar to Europe, but also LNG exports from the US and Russia into Asia. And so far what we're seeing is that the container ships around the Gulf of Aden have seen the sharpest decline compared with, for example, other bulker and tanker transit ships. But we're seeing that more and more traffic is being diverted. And maybe just lastly, in terms of the rerouting, we're seeing that rerouting around the Cape of Good Hope seems to be the preferred alternative route, but this adds at least 10 days to the overall journey, which potentially could impact margins for shipping companies that don't have any pass-through cost charter agreement mechanisms, for example.
Can you highlight the significant threat posed by a potential closure of the Strait of Hormuz to the global hydrocarbon market, and do you foresee that happening?
Maybe just to start, we believe that restricting transit through the Gulf of Aden delays rather than prevents the delivery to the world market, meaning that rerouting LNG to Asia Pacific frees up US cargo for supply to Europe. And as a result, the Red Sea disruptions have not meaningfully impacted the global oil and gas market. As for the Strait of Hormuz, since around 30% of seaborne crude oil exports and about 20% of LNG exports pass through the strait, even a partial closure, while not in our base case, could prove highly disruptive to the overall market. And as a reminder, the strait is the primary export route for oil and gas from countries such as Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Iran, and Iraq, just to give a few examples.
Rowan, let's discuss a little bit the economic implications of longer shipping routes due to rerouting. Obviously, this will impact shipping costs as well as insurance costs and will probably raise inflation.
I think, broadly speaking, prolonged pauses and disruptions to traffic through the Red Sea could slow down the delivery of Qatari LNG to Europe, which is roughly about 10 to 15% of European LNG trade, but also Russian and US LNG into Asia. And we think that rerouting around the Cape of Good Hope seems to be the preferred alternative route, although, as you mentioned, it also delays the journey, adding at least up to 10 days to this overall journey. And as a result, potentially could impact margin. And as you rightly mentioned, this could trigger or incur additional costs, whether it's fuel charges or even insurance premium.
So, Rowan, you state in the latest report as S&P Global that the changes in shipping routes caused by geopolitical tensions in the Red Sea would have a minimal impact on rated Qatari entities exposed to oil and gas risks. How did you reach this conclusion?
We are seeing more and more shipments being diverted, and these do include LNG and oil exports from GCC countries, particularly Qatar, going north to Europe. And very briefly, we believe that the diversions will have a minimal impact on the Qatari-rated entities that we look at, which are exposed to oil and gas. This is predominantly because the majority of their customers are in Asia. So we know that, for example, Qatar Energy, about 70% of the volumes or the contracts are for Asian customers, just to give a few examples. And maybe just to add, we think that the prolonged pauses will slow down the delivery of Qatari LNG, which is about 10 to 15% of European LNG trade, as well as Russian and US LNG going into Asia, which is about also 10 to 15% of Asian LNG trade.